I like to think of it in terms of passing energy, right? And that's the same thing when we go over to the cogen. There's the energy that we get from the air that cools the water, and there's that energy is passed to the condenser, which is passed to the refrigerant, which is passed on to the chilled water. It's just the same energy, just keeps going along, you know. But you also need electricity for it to happen, and you need a lot of electricity. So the cogen engine, which is the big green engine when we get there, it runs on gas, natural gas. And it looks like a diesel engine, but it's actually a natural gas engine. And that engine produces electricity. And then in producing the electricity, it makes heat. There's a lot of exhaust. It's actually about 800 degrees. And that 800 degrees goes up the stack and it goes out. And it's gone essentially. But we recapture that. So I'm going to talk about the heating side first because that's the easiest one to understand because it's the most intuitive. We have hot water that goes out to the campus at, say, it usually goes out at about 160, 165 degrees, comes back at 155. And we run it through the boilers to heat it up. But when we have the cogen running, before we do that, we run it through a heat exchanger that takes that 800 degree air and passes that across a coil, you know, so that the water, again, they never mix, but it's a heat exchanger where they run across each other. And so you take the 800 degree air and you heat the 155 degree water. And now you don't need to turn on the boilers. So that's the benefit of cogen, because I would say the simplest way to think of cogen is one fuel and two benefits. So the one fuel we're using is gas, natural gas, to run it, and then the two benefits are the electric that we get, which we would have had to pay for anyway, and then the free heating that we get. Essentially it's free because it's a byproduct of making the electricity. And the cost, just so you know, the cost of us to make electricity with the cogen is about even with what we could purchase it from the utility. It's about the same cost for us when maybe one is a little more expensive than the other. I'm not even sure, but it's about the same. So we never run it if we don't have a heating load or a cooling load to use the thermal. The extra thermal energy that we get, we don't run it because it wouldn't make sense, and it's just easier to use the utility.